Starting over without shame. How to rebuild your life with confidence and clarity. By T.M. Light. Description. This transformative book is a powerful personal growth guide for anyone ready to move forward after setbacks. It explores healing from the past, letting go of shame, rebuilding confidence, and creating a clear vision for your future. Learn practical strategies to develop resilience, build empowering habits, and take action without overwhelm. Perfect for self-improvement and mindset transformation, this book helps you rediscover your strength, regain control, and design a meaningful life. If you're ready for a fresh start, this guide will empower you to rebuild with courage, clarity, and purpose. Chapter Outline. Introduction: The courage to begin again. Chapter 1: Releasing the weight of shame. Chapter 2: Accepting your reality without resistance. Chapter 3: Redefining who you are. Chapter 4: Healing from the past. Chapter 5: Rebuilding your confidence step by step. Chapter 6: Gaining clarity about your future. Chapter 7: Taking action without overwhelm. Chapter 8: Building a support system that uplifts you. Chapter 9: Creating new habits for a new life. Chapter 10: Becoming stronger than your past. Conclusion: Your new beginning starts now. Introduction: The courage to begin again. There comes a moment in life when everything feels uncertain. The path you once walked no longer exists, the plans you made have shifted, and the identity you held onto begins to dissolve. In that moment, it can feel like you have lost everything. But what if that moment is not an ending? What if it is a beginning? Starting over is often misunderstood. It is seen as failure, as a sign that something went wrong or that you somehow fell short. But the truth is far more empowering. Starting over is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign of courage. It is the decision to rise again, to rebuild, and to move forward despite what has happened. Every great transformation begins with a moment of starting again. It is not about erasing your past, but about choosing not to be defined by it. It is about recognizing that your life is not limited to one chapter, one decision, or one outcome. You have the ability to turn the page and begin a new story. One of the greatest barriers to starting over is shame. Shame has a way of anchoring you to your past. It whispers that you should have done better, that you should have known more, that you should not be where you are. It creates a sense of heaviness, making it difficult to move forward. But shame is not truth. It is a perception shaped by judgment, comparison, and expectation. It does not define your worth. It does not determine your future. Holding on to shame only keeps you stuck in a place that no longer serves you. Letting go of shame is not about pretending that nothing happened. It is about accepting that what happened does not define who you are. It is about understanding that mistakes, setbacks, and changes are part of being human. They are not evidence of failure, but opportunities for growth. Regret can also weigh heavily on your mind. You may find yourself replaying past decisions, wondering what could have been different. This mental loop creates frustration and keeps you focused on what cannot be changed. But regret does not move you forward. It keeps you looking backward. The only way to move ahead is to shift your focus. Instead of asking what you should have done, ask what you can do now. This shift creates possibility. It opens the door to action. Starting from zero can feel overwhelming. It can feel like everything you built has been lost, like you are standing at the beginning without direction or certainty. This feeling is real and it can be heavy. But it is important to understand that you are not truly starting from nothing. You carry with you every experience, every lesson, and every piece of growth you have gained along the way. These are not lost. They are part of your foundation. Even if your external circumstances have changed, your internal strength remains. Starting over is not about losing everything. It is about using what you have learned to build something new. It is about taking your experiences and turning them into wisdom. It is about recognizing that you are stronger, more aware, and more capable than you were before. Reframing your story is one of the most powerful steps you can take. The way you interpret your past shapes how you see your present and your future. If you see your story as one of failure, you limit your potential. But if you see it as a story of growth, resilience, and learning, you empower yourself. Your story is not fixed. It is something you can rewrite. You can choose to see your challenges as stepping stones rather than obstacles. You can choose to see your setbacks as preparation rather than defeat. Reclaiming your power begins with this shift. It is the decision to take ownership of your life, not by controlling everything that happens, but by choosing how you respond. It is the understanding that while you cannot change the past, you can shape your future. This book is here to guide you through that process. It is not about quick fixes or temporary solutions. It is about building something real and lasting. It is about helping you rebuild your life with confidence, clarity, and direction. Confidence will come from taking action, from showing yourself that you are capable of moving forward. It will grow with each step you take, with each decision you make, and with each challenge you face. Clarity will come from understanding what truly matters to you. It will come from letting go of what no longer serves you, and focusing on what aligns with your values and your vision. Direction will come from combining these elements. It will come from creating a path that reflects who you are and where you want to go. It will not always be perfect, but it will be yours. Starting over is not easy. It requires courage, patience, and determination. But it is also one of the most powerful opportunities you will ever have. It is a chance to rebuild your life in a way that is more aligned, more intentional, and more meaningful. You are not broken. You are becoming. And this is your beginning. Chapter 1: Releasing the Weight of Shame. There is a weight that many people carry silently. It does not show on the outside, yet it influences everything within. It shapes how you see yourself, how you speak to yourself, and how you move through life. That weight is shame. Shame is not just a feeling. It is a belief. It is the quiet voice that tells you that you are not enough, that you have failed, that you are somehow less because of what you have been through or what you have done. It is heavy because it attaches itself not just to your actions, but to your identity. To begin again, you must first release this weight. You must understand it, challenge it, and ultimately let it go. Understanding where shame comes from is the first step. Shame is often learned. It develops through experiences, through how others respond to you, and through the expectations placed upon you. It can come from moments when you were judged, criticized, rejected, or made to feel inadequate. It can also come from your own internal standards, from the belief that you should have been better, stronger, or different. Over time, these experiences shape your internal dialogue. They create a narrative about who you are. And when that narrative is negative, it becomes difficult to see yourself clearly. But it is important to recognize that shame is not a fact. It is a perception. It is a story that has been repeated so often that it begins to feel true. But just because something feels true does not mean it is. Shame often grows in silence. The less you question it, the stronger it becomes. It feeds on comparison, on regret, and on the belief that you are alone in your struggles. But the truth is that everyone carries moments they wish they could change. Everyone has faced challenges, made mistakes, and experienced setbacks. Shame convinces you that your story is different, that your mistakes define you. But they do not. They are part of your journey, not the whole of who you are. One of the most damaging effects of shame is how it keeps you stuck in the past. It anchors your mind to what has already happened, replaying moments over and over again. You may find yourself thinking about what you should have done differently, what you could have said, or how things could have turned out. This constant reflection does not create progress. It creates paralysis. It keeps your focus on what cannot be changed, rather than on what can be created. When you are stuck in shame, it becomes difficult to move forward. You may hesitate to take action, fearing that you will repeat past mistakes. You may avoid opportunities because you doubt your worth. You may hold back from expressing yourself because you fear judgment. Shame limits your potential by keeping you connected to a version of yourself that no longer exists. It prevents you from stepping into who you can become. To break free from this cycle, you must begin to separate your identity from your mistakes. This is one of the most important shifts you can make. You are not your past actions. You are not your failures. You are not defined by the moments that did not go as planned. You are a person who has experienced those things, but they do not define your worth. Mistakes are part of growth. They are evidence that you have tried, that you have learned, and that you have lived. Without them, there would be no progress. When you attach your identity to your mistakes, you create a fixed view of yourself. You see yourself as someone who is flawed or incapable. But when you separate your identity from your actions, you create space for change. You allow yourself to grow. This does not mean ignoring responsibility. It means recognizing that while you are responsible for your actions, you are not limited by them. You have the ability to choose differently, to act differently, and to become different. Learning self-compassion is essential in this process. Self-compassion is not about excusing behavior or avoiding accountability. It is about treating yourself with the same understanding and kindness that you would offer to someone else. Think about how you respond to others when they make mistakes. You may offer encouragement, understanding, and support. You recognize that they are human, that they are learning, and that they deserve compassion. Yet when it comes to yourself, you may respond with criticism, judgment, and harshness. This internal dialogue reinforces shame. It keeps you stuck in a cycle of negativity. Self-compassion breaks this cycle. It allows you to acknowledge your experiences without condemning yourself. It creates a space where growth is possible. Forgiveness is a natural extension of self-compassion. It is the act of releasing the hold that the past has on you. It is not about forgetting or minimizing what happened. It is about freeing yourself from the emotional burden. Forgiveness allows you to move forward without carrying the weight of regret. It gives you permission to start again. This process may not be immediate. It requires patience. It requires you to challenge long-held beliefs and to replace them with more supportive ones. It requires you to practice understanding, even when it feels difficult. Each time you choose compassion over criticism, you weaken the grip of shame. Each time you remind yourself that you are more than your mistakes, you strengthen your sense of self. As you continue this process, you will begin to feel lighter. The weight that once held you back will begin to lift. You will see yourself more clearly, not through the lens of shame, but through the lens of growth. You will begin to understand that your past does not define your future. That your mistakes do not determine your worth. That you have the ability to change, to grow, and to rebuild. Releasing the weight of shame is not just about letting go of the past. It is about reclaiming your power. It is about choosing to see yourself differently. It is about stepping into a version of yourself that is not limited by what has been. This is where your new beginning truly starts. Not in the external changes you make, but in the internal shift that allows you to move forward. Because when you release shame, you create space for confidence. When you let go of judgment, you create room for clarity. And when you separate your identity from your past, you open the door to your future. You are not your mistakes. You are your potential. And that potential is still waiting for you. Chapter 2: Accepting Your Reality Without Resistance. There is a moment in every rebuilding journey where you are faced with a choice. You can continue resisting what is, or you can accept it. This moment is not always dramatic. It is often quiet, internal, and deeply personal. But it is one of the most powerful turning points you will ever experience. Acceptance is not weakness. It is not giving up. It is not agreeing that your situation is ideal or that nothing should change. Acceptance is clarity. It is the willingness to see your reality as it is, without distortion, without denial, and without avoidance. It is the foundation upon which real change is built. Many people remain stuck, not because they lack ability, but because they resist their current reality. They spend time wishing things were different, replaying what should have happened, or avoiding the truth of where they are. This resistance creates tension. It drains energy. It keeps you emotionally tied to the past and mentally disconnected from the present. The power of acceptance lies in its ability to free you from that struggle. When you accept your reality, you stop fighting what already exists. You stop wasting energy on denial and redirect it toward progress. You create space for movement. Think of acceptance as a doorway. On one side is resistance, frustration, and stagnation. On the other side is clarity, direction, and action. You cannot move forward until you walk through that doorway. Letting go of denial is often the first step. Denial can feel protective. It can soften the impact of difficult truths and delay the discomfort of facing reality. But it also keeps you from seeing clearly. It prevents you from addressing what needs to be addressed. When you are in denial, you are not fully present. You are disconnected from your current situation, which makes it difficult to make meaningful changes. Growth requires awareness, and awareness requires honesty. Blame is another form of resistance. It shifts responsibility away from you and places it on external factors. While there may be circumstances or people who contributed to your situation, holding on to blame keeps you stuck. It ties your progress to something outside your control. Blame may feel justified, but it does not create movement. It keeps your focus on what has already happened, rather than what you can do next. Releasing blame does not mean ignoring what occurred. It means choosing to take ownership of your future. Comparison is a quieter form of resistance, but it can be just as limiting. When you compare your life to others, you create a gap between where you are and where you think you should be. This gap often leads to feelings of inadequacy, frustration, or discouragement. Comparison distracts you from your own journey. It shifts your focus away from your progress and places it on someone else's path. But your life is not meant to follow someone else's timeline. Your journey is unique, shaped by your experiences, your challenges, and your growth. Letting go of comparison allows you to focus on your own direction. It helps you appreciate where you are and recognize the steps you can take moving forward. It creates space for self-acceptance and growth. Facing your current situation with honesty requires courage. It means looking at your life without filters, without excuses, and without avoidance. It means acknowledging both the challenges and the opportunities that exist. This honesty is not meant to discourage you. It is meant to empower you. When you see your situation clearly, you gain the ability to respond effectively. You understand what needs to change, what can be improved, and what actions you can take. Avoiding reality does not protect you. It limits you. It keeps you in a cycle of uncertainty and inaction. But when you face your situation directly, you create clarity. And clarity leads to direction. It is important to approach this process with compassion. Honesty does not require harshness. You can acknowledge your situation without criticizing yourself. You can recognize where you are without diminishing your worth. Acceptance is not about judging your reality. It is about understanding it. It is about seeing it as a starting point rather than a limitation. Turning acceptance into strength is where transformation begins. Once you accept your reality, you gain control. You are no longer reacting to circumstances. You are responding with intention. Acceptance gives you a clear foundation. It allows you to build from where you are, rather than from where you wish you were. This makes your actions more effective because they are based on truth, not assumption. Strength comes from this alignment. It comes from knowing where you stand and choosing to move forward anyway. It comes from taking responsibility for your actions and your direction. When you accept your reality, you also develop resilience. You become less affected by setbacks because you understand that challenges are part of the process. You learn to adapt, to adjust, and to continue. This resilience is not built through avoidance. It is built through engagement. It is built by facing what is difficult and choosing to move forward. As you continue this process, you will begin to notice a shift in your mindset. You will feel less resistance and more clarity. You will feel more grounded and more in control. You will begin to see possibilities where you once saw limitations. This shift changes how you approach your life. You no longer wait for circumstances to change before taking action. You take action based on where you are. You create change from within. Acceptance also allows you to let go of unnecessary emotional weight. It releases the tension created by resistance. It frees your mind to focus on what matters. This creates a sense of calm and clarity. From this place, you can make better decisions. You can set clearer goals. You can take more intentional actions. You are no longer reacting to the past. You are building your future. It is important to remember that acceptance is a process. It may not happen all at once. There may be moments when resistance returns, when you feel the urge to deny, blame, or compare. This is natural. What matters is that you continue to return to acceptance. That you remind yourself to see clearly, to act intentionally, and to move forward. Each time you choose acceptance, you strengthen your ability to handle challenges. You build confidence in your capacity to navigate your life. You create a foundation that supports growth. You begin to understand that your current situation does not define your future. It is simply where you are starting from. And every starting point holds potential. Accepting your reality without resistance is not the end of your journey. It is the beginning. It is the moment where you stop looking back and start moving forward. Because when you accept where you are, you gain the power to change where you are going. And that is where true transformation begins. Chapter 3: Redefining Who You Are. There comes a point in your journey where you realize that starting over is not just about changing your circumstances. It is about changing how you see yourself. Because no matter how much your external world shifts, if your internal identity remains the same, you will continue to repeat the same patterns. Redefining who you are is one of the most powerful and liberating steps you can take. It is not about pretending to be someone else. It is about uncovering the version of yourself that has always been there, waiting to be expressed. It is about releasing what no longer serves you, and stepping into who you are capable of becoming. For many people, identity is shaped by past experiences. Labels are formed over time, often without conscious choice. You may have been told who you are, or you may have decided it based on what you have been through. These labels can feel permanent, but they are not. You might carry labels like, "I'm not confident," "I always fail," or "I'm not capable of change." These beliefs can feel real because they are based on past experiences. But they are not facts. They are interpretations. And interpretations can be changed. Letting go of old labels and limiting beliefs is the first step in redefining your identity. It requires you to question what you have accepted as truth. It requires you to ask whether these beliefs are helping you or holding you back. Limiting beliefs act like invisible barriers. They shape your decisions, your actions, and your expectations. When you believe you are limited, you act in ways that reinforce that belief. You hesitate, you avoid, and you settle. But when you challenge these beliefs, you create space for new possibilities. You begin to see that your past does not define your future. You recognize that you are not fixed, but adaptable. This process is not about denying your experiences. It is about reframing them. It is about understanding that what happened does not determine what is possible. It is about choosing to see yourself differently. Rebuilding your identity from the inside out requires intention. It is not something that happens automatically. It is something you create through your thoughts, your actions, and your decisions. Start by becoming aware of how you currently see yourself. What do you believe about your abilities, your worth, and your potential? These beliefs shape your behavior, often without you realizing it. Once you identify these beliefs, you can begin to reshape them. This does not mean simply telling yourself something new. It means creating evidence through action. Each time you act in a way that contradicts a limiting belief, you weaken that belief and strengthen a new one. For example, if you believe you are not disciplined, taking consistent action even in small ways begins to change that perception. Over time, your actions create a new identity. You begin to see yourself as someone who follows through. This is how identity is rebuilt. Not through words alone, but through repeated actions that align with who you want to become. Choosing who you want to become is a powerful decision. It shifts your focus from your past to your future. It allows you to define yourself based on intention rather than history. Ask yourself what kind of person you want to be. Not in terms of external success, but in terms of character, mindset, and behavior. Who do you want to become when no one is watching? How do you want to think, act, and respond? This vision becomes your guide. It gives your actions direction. It helps you make decisions that align with your desired identity. It is important to understand that this choice is not about perfection. You do not need to become this person overnight. It is about moving in that direction, one step at a time. Each decision you make is an opportunity to reinforce your identity. Each action is a reflection of who you are becoming. Over time, these actions accumulate, creating a new pattern. Aligning your actions with your new identity is where transformation becomes real. It is not enough to think differently. You must act differently. Your actions are what solidify your identity. When your actions align with your identity, consistency becomes easier. You are no longer forcing yourself to behave in a certain way. You are simply acting in alignment with who you believe you are. This alignment creates clarity. You no longer question what to do in each situation. You respond based on your identity. This reduces hesitation and increases confidence. For example, if you identify as someone who values growth, you naturally seek opportunities to learn and improve. If you see yourself as someone who is resilient, you approach challenges with strength rather than avoidance. Your identity becomes the foundation of your behavior. It guides your actions and shapes your outcomes. There will be moments when your actions do not align with your desired identity. This is part of the process. Change is not linear, and growth involves setbacks. What matters is how you respond to these moments. Instead of letting them define you, use them as reminders of your direction. Return to your identity. Choose to act in alignment again. Each time you do this, you strengthen your identity. You reinforce your commitment to becoming who you want to be. As you continue this process, you will begin to notice a shift. Your thoughts will become more aligned with your goals. Your actions will become more consistent. Your confidence will grow. You will start to see yourself not as who you were, but as who you are becoming. This shift is powerful because it changes how you approach your life. You no longer feel stuck in your past. You feel connected to your future. You begin to act with intention, clarity, and purpose. Redefining who you are is not about creating a false version of yourself. It is about uncovering your potential and allowing it to guide your actions. It is about stepping into a version of yourself that reflects your growth and your aspirations. This process requires patience, commitment, and self-awareness. But each step you take brings you closer to alignment. You are not defined by your past. You are defined by your choices. And each choice is an opportunity to shape your identity. As you move forward, remember that you have the power to decide who you are. You have the ability to let go of what no longer serves you, and to build something new. Because in the end, starting over is not just about rebuilding your life. It is about redefining yourself. And that is where true transformation begins. Chapter 4: Healing from the Past. There is a part of starting over that cannot be rushed, ignored, or bypassed. It is the part that asks you to look back, not to stay there, but to understand what you carry with you. Healing from the past is not about reliving pain endlessly. It is about releasing its grip, so that it no longer controls your present or limits your future. Many people try to move forward without healing. They distract themselves, stay busy, or force positivity. On the surface it may seem like progress, but underneath the unresolved pain remains. It shows up in subtle ways. It influences your decisions, your relationships, and your sense of self. Healing is not weakness. It is strength. It is the willingness to face what hurts, so that it no longer defines you. Processing emotional pain and setbacks is the first step in this journey. Pain does not disappear simply because time has passed. It needs to be acknowledged. It needs to be felt. It needs to be understood. When you suppress emotions, they do not vanish. They remain beneath the surface, shaping your reactions and your thoughts. You may find yourself triggered by situations that seem unrelated, or you may feel a sense of heaviness without fully understanding why. Allowing yourself to process your emotions creates space. It allows you to release what you have been holding on to. This does not mean becoming overwhelmed by your feelings. It means giving them the attention they need, in a way that is safe and intentional. There is no single way to process pain. It can come through reflection, through expression, through quiet moments of honesty with yourself. What matters is that you do not avoid it. What you face, you can heal. What you avoid continues to influence you. It is important to approach this process with patience. Healing is not linear. There will be moments when you feel strong and moments when old emotions resurface. This does not mean you are going backward. It means you are moving through layers. Understanding how past experiences shape you is a key part of healing. Your experiences influence your beliefs, your behaviors, and your identity. They shape how you see the world and how you respond to it. For example, if you have experienced disappointment or failure, you may develop a belief that you are not capable. If you have experienced rejection, you may become hesitant to open up or take risks. These patterns are not random. They are responses shaped by your past. Recognizing these patterns gives you power. It allows you to see that your reactions are not fixed traits, but learned responses. And what is learned can be changed. This understanding also creates compassion for yourself. You begin to see that your behavior is not a flaw, but a result of what you have been through. This perspective reduces self-judgment and creates space for growth. At the same time, it is important to take responsibility for your future. While your past has shaped you, it does not define you. You have the ability to choose how you respond moving forward. You can create new patterns, new beliefs, and new ways of thinking. Letting go without forgetting the lessons is one of the most important aspects of healing. Letting go does not mean erasing your past or pretending it did not happen. It means releasing the emotional weight attached to it. You can remember what you have been through without carrying the pain with you. You can acknowledge your experiences without allowing them to control your present. The lessons from your past are valuable. They provide insight, awareness, and growth. They teach you what to do differently, what to avoid, and what truly matters. When you hold on to the pain without extracting the lesson, you remain stuck. But when you focus on the lesson and release the pain, you move forward with wisdom. This shift transforms your relationship with your past. It changes it from a source of limitation to a source of strength. Finding strength in your story is where healing becomes empowering. Your story is not something to hide or feel ashamed of. It is a testament to what you have endured, what you have learned, and what you have overcome. Every challenge you have faced has shaped you in some way. It has built resilience, awareness, and depth. Even the moments that felt like setbacks have contributed to your growth. When you begin to see your story in this way, you reclaim your power. You no longer see yourself as someone who was defeated by circumstances. You see yourself as someone who has navigated challenges and continues to move forward. This perspective changes how you carry your past. Instead of feeling weighed down, you feel strengthened. Instead of feeling limited, you feel capable. Your story becomes a source of confidence. It reminds you that you have faced difficulty before and found a way through. It reinforces your ability to handle whatever comes next. Healing does not mean you will never feel pain again. It means that pain no longer controls you. It means that you have developed the strength to face challenges with clarity and resilience. As you continue this process, you will notice changes in how you think and feel. You will feel lighter. You will feel more in control. You will feel more connected to your present and your future. You will also notice a shift in your relationships. When you heal, you bring a different energy into your interactions. You are more open, more grounded, and more aware. This creates deeper connections and healthier dynamics. It is important to remember that healing is a journey, not a destination. There is no point where everything is completely resolved. There is only progress, growth, and understanding. Each step you take brings you closer to freedom. Each moment of awareness creates space for change. Each decision to face your past strengthens your ability to move forward. You are not defined by what happened to you. You are defined by how you choose to respond to it. You have the ability to transform your experiences into strength, your pain into wisdom, and your story into something powerful. As you move forward, carry your lessons, not your burdens. Use your experiences as a foundation, not a limitation. Allow your past to inform you, not control you. Because healing is not about forgetting where you have been. It is about choosing where you are going. And when you find strength in your story, you realize that starting over is not about leaving your past behind. It is about rising from it. Chapter 5: Rebuilding Your Confidence Step by Step. There is something deeply personal about confidence. It is not something you can borrow from others or fake for long. It comes from within, built quietly through your experiences, your actions, and your relationship with yourself. And when life forces you to start over, confidence is often one of the first things that feels lost. You may begin to question yourself. You may doubt your abilities, your decisions, and even your worth. Situations that once felt manageable may now feel overwhelming. The certainty you once had may be replaced with hesitation. This is a natural response. When you go through change, loss, or setbacks, your sense of stability is shaken, and with it your confidence. But here is what you must understand. Confidence is not something you either have or do not have. It is something you build. It is something you rebuild. And no matter how lost it may feel, it can be restored. Confidence is often lost when your expectations do not match your outcomes. When things do not go as planned, you may begin to question your judgment. You may start to believe that you are not capable, or that you cannot trust yourself. Over time, these thoughts create a pattern, and that pattern weakens your belief. Confidence is also affected by comparison. When you measure yourself against others, especially during a time of rebuilding, it is easy to feel behind. You may see others moving forward, while you feel like you are starting over. This perception can create doubt and reduce your sense of progress. Another factor is fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, and fear of making the wrong choice can all contribute to a loss of confidence. When fear takes control, it limits your willingness to act. And without action, confidence cannot grow. To rebuild confidence, you must shift your approach. Instead of focusing on how you feel, focus on what you do. Confidence is not built through thinking alone. It is built through action. Small wins are the foundation of this process. They may seem simple, even insignificant, but they carry immense power. Each small win is a piece of evidence. It shows you that you can follow through, that you can make progress, and that you are capable. When you complete a small task, you create a sense of accomplishment. This feeling reinforces your belief in yourself. It reminds you that you can take action and achieve results even in small ways. These small wins accumulate. They build momentum. They create a pattern of success. Over time, this pattern becomes your new reality. You begin to see yourself as someone who can follow through, someone who can move forward. It is important to start where you are. Do not wait for the perfect moment or the perfect plan. Begin with what feels manageable. Take one step, then another. Each step matters. Self-trust is closely connected to confidence. When you trust yourself, you believe in your ability to make decisions, to handle challenges, and to adapt when things change. This trust is built through consistency. Each time you do what you say you will do, you strengthen your self-trust. Each time you follow through, you reinforce your reliability. Over time, this creates a stable foundation. On the other hand, when you repeatedly break promises to yourself, your self-trust weakens. This is why consistency is so important. It is not about perfection. It is about showing up. Overcoming the fear of failure is a crucial part of rebuilding confidence. Failure is often seen as something to avoid, something that defines your ability. But in reality, failure is part of growth. It is how you learn, how you adjust, and how you improve. When you fear failure, you limit your actions. You avoid opportunities, hesitate to take risks, and hold back from trying. This avoidance creates stagnation. It keeps you in the same place. To move forward, you must change your relationship with failure. Instead of seeing it as a negative outcome, see it as feedback. Each experience provides information. It shows you what works, what does not, and what can be improved. This perspective reduces fear. It allows you to act without the pressure of being perfect. It creates space for growth. Fear of judgment can be just as limiting. You may worry about how others see you, especially when you are starting over. You may feel exposed, uncertain, or vulnerable. But the truth is that most people are focused on their own lives. The judgment you fear is often less significant than you imagine. And even if it exists, it does not define your worth. When you focus on your own progress rather than others' opinions, you regain control. You make decisions based on what is right for you, not on external expectations. Showing up even when you feel uncertain is where real confidence is built. Confidence does not come from waiting until you feel ready. It comes from acting despite uncertainty. There will be moments when you doubt yourself, moments when you feel unsure or hesitant. These moments are not signs that you should stop. They are opportunities to grow. Each time you act despite uncertainty, you prove to yourself that you are capable. You build resilience. You strengthen your belief. This process requires courage. Not the absence of fear, but the willingness to move forward with it. Courage is what allows you to take the step, even when you are unsure of the outcome. As you continue to show up, you will begin to notice a shift. Your hesitation will decrease. Your actions will become more natural. Your confidence will grow. You will start to trust yourself again. You will feel more capable of handling challenges. You will approach situations with a different mindset. Rebuilding confidence is not about becoming fearless. It is about becoming willing. Willing to try, willing to learn, and willing to continue. It is also about recognizing your progress. Take time to acknowledge how far you have come. Even small steps are significant. They represent movement, effort, and growth. Confidence grows when you see your own progress. It reinforces your belief and encourages you to continue. As you move forward, remember that confidence is built step by step. It is not created in a single moment. It is developed through consistent action, through small wins, and through the willingness to show up. You do not need to have everything figured out. You do not need to feel completely ready. You only need to begin. Each step you take rebuilds your confidence. Each action you complete strengthens your belief. Each moment you show up moves you forward. And over time you will realize that the confidence you thought you lost was never truly gone. It was waiting to be rebuilt. And now, step by step, you are doing exactly that. Chapter 6: Gaining Clarity About Your Future. There is a moment in every new beginning where the noise begins to quiet, and a question rises to the surface. It is not about what you have lost, or what you left behind. It is about what comes next. This moment can feel both exciting and overwhelming. Because when you start over, the future is no longer defined for you. It becomes something you must create. Clarity is what transforms that uncertainty into direction. It is what allows you to move forward with intention rather than hesitation. Without clarity, you drift. You second-guess your decisions, follow paths that do not align with you, and feel disconnected from your progress. But with clarity, your actions gain purpose. Your choices become focused. Your path becomes meaningful. Gaining clarity about your future is not about having all the answers immediately. It is about asking the right questions. It is about turning inward and understanding what truly matters to you. Many people build their lives around expectations that are not their own. These expectations may come from society, from family, or from past versions of themselves. They create goals that look good on the outside, but feel empty on the inside. When you are starting over, you have an opportunity to redefine those expectations. Identifying what truly matters to you requires honesty. It requires you to step away from external influences and listen to your own voice. What do you value? What brings you a sense of purpose? What kind of life feels aligned with who you are now? These questions may not have immediate answers, and that is okay. Clarity often emerges through reflection. It grows as you explore, as you consider your experiences, and as you pay attention to what resonates with you. Your past can provide valuable insight, not as something to hold on to, but as something to learn from. What experiences felt fulfilling? What moments made you feel connected, engaged, and alive? These are clues. They point toward what matters. At the same time, it is important to recognize what no longer aligns with you. As you grow, your values and priorities can change. Goals that once felt important may no longer hold the same meaning. Holding on to outdated expectations can create confusion and resistance. Letting go of outdated goals is not failure. It is growth. It is the recognition that you are not the same person you once were. It is the willingness to release what no longer serves you, so that you can make space for something new. This process can feel uncomfortable. You may question whether you are making the right decision. You may feel uncertain about what to replace those goals with. But this discomfort is part of transformation. It is a sign that you are moving beyond old patterns. When you let go of what no longer fits, you create space for clarity. You allow yourself to redefine your direction based on who you are now, not who you used to be. Creating a clear vision for your next chapter is the next step. A vision is not a rigid plan. It is a direction. It is a sense of where you want to go, and how you want to feel as you move forward. Your vision should reflect your values, your priorities, and your aspirations. It should feel meaningful, not just impressive. It should inspire you, not pressure you. Think about the kind of life you want to build. Not just in terms of achievements, but in terms of experience. How do you want your days to feel? What kind of person do you want to be? What kind of relationships, work, and environment align with you? This vision becomes your guide. It helps you make decisions that are aligned with your direction. It gives your actions purpose. It is important to keep your vision flexible. Life is dynamic, and your path may evolve. Clarity does not mean certainty in every detail. It means having a direction that you can adjust as you grow. Making decisions with confidence is a natural result of clarity. When you understand what matters to you and where you want to go, your choices become easier. You are no longer overwhelmed by options. You are guided by alignment. Confidence in decision-making does not mean you will always be certain. It means you trust yourself to choose, to act, and to adapt if needed. It is the belief that you can handle the outcome, whatever it may be. One of the biggest obstacles to confident decisions is overthinking. When you try to predict every possible outcome or avoid every risk, you create paralysis. You delay action, waiting for perfect clarity that may never come. To move forward, you must accept that not every decision will be perfect. What matters is that it is aligned with your current understanding and your vision. You can adjust as you go. You can learn from your experiences. Trusting yourself is key. This trust is built through action. Each time you make a decision and follow through, you strengthen your confidence. You prove to yourself that you are capable of navigating your path. It is also important to separate your decisions from your worth. A decision that does not lead to the desired outcome does not mean you are incapable. It means you are learning. This perspective reduces fear and encourages action. As you continue to make decisions aligned with your vision, you create momentum. Your path becomes clearer. Your confidence grows. Your actions become more intentional. Clarity is not something you find once and keep forever. It is something you cultivate. It evolves as you grow. It requires you to stay connected to yourself, to reflect and to adjust when necessary. This process is not about having all the answers. It is about moving forward with intention. It is about trusting your ability to figure things out as you go. Starting over gives you a unique opportunity. It allows you to redefine your direction without the constraints of past expectations. It allows you to build a future that is aligned with who you are now. As you move forward, remember that clarity comes from action as much as reflection. The more you engage with your path, the more you understand it. The more you explore, the more you discover what resonates with you. You do not need to wait for perfect clarity to begin. You only need enough to take the next step. Each step you take will reveal more. Each decision you make will refine your direction. Each experience will deepen your understanding. And over time, what once felt uncertain will begin to feel clear. Because clarity is not about knowing everything. It is about knowing enough to move forward with confidence. And that is how your next chapter begins. Chapter 7: Taking Action Without Overwhelm. There is a point in every new beginning where clarity meets reality. You begin to see what you want, you start to understand your direction, and then one question quietly rises: how do I actually do this? This is where many people feel overwhelmed. The vision may be clear, but the path feels uncertain. The distance between where you are and where you want to be can seem too large. Your mind begins to race, trying to figure everything out at once. You may feel pressure to move quickly, to get it right, to make up for lost time. But this is where you must pause and shift your approach. Progress is not built by doing everything at once. It is built by doing one thing at a time, consistently. Taking action without overwhelm begins with understanding that you do not need to have everything figured out. You do not need a perfect plan. You only need a starting point. Starting small is one of the most powerful decisions you can make. It may not feel impressive, but it is effective. When you start small, you remove resistance. You make it easier to begin. And beginning is often the hardest part. Small actions create movement. They break the cycle of hesitation. They shift you from thinking to doing. And once you are in motion, it becomes easier to continue. Momentum is built through these small steps. Each action you take adds to the last. Each step creates a sense of progress. This progress fuels your motivation and strengthens your confidence. At first, the momentum may feel slow. You may not see immediate results. But beneath the surface, something important is happening. You are building consistency. You are creating a pattern. And that pattern is what leads to transformation. Breaking big changes into manageable steps is essential in this process. When you look at a large goal as a whole, it can feel overwhelming. Your mind focuses on the distance, the effort, and the uncertainty. This can create hesitation and delay. But when you break that goal into smaller parts, it becomes more approachable. Each step feels achievable. Each action feels clear. This reduces stress and increases your willingness to act. Think of your journey as a series of steps rather than a single leap. You do not need to reach the end immediately. You only need to take the next step, then the next, and then the next. This approach creates clarity. It allows you to focus on what is in front of you, rather than what is far ahead. It keeps you grounded in the present, where action is possible. It also allows you to adjust as you go. You do not need to have every detail planned in advance. You can refine your path based on your experiences. This flexibility reduces pressure and increases confidence. One of the biggest obstacles to taking action is perfectionism. The desire to get everything right can become a barrier. You may feel that you need to be fully prepared, fully confident, or fully certain before you begin. But perfectionism creates delay. It keeps you in a state of preparation without progress. It convinces you that you are not ready, even when you are capable. The truth is that progress does not require perfection. It requires action. Imperfect action is still progress. It still moves you forward. It still creates results. When you let go of the need to be perfect, you create space for growth. You allow yourself to learn through experience. You accept that mistakes are part of the process. This shift reduces pressure. It makes action feel more accessible. It allows you to focus on progress rather than perfection. Procrastination is often linked to perfectionism and overwhelm. When a task feels too large or too uncertain, your mind looks for ways to avoid it. You may delay, distract yourself, or convince yourself that you will start later. But later often becomes never. And the longer you delay, the heavier the task feels. To overcome procrastination, you must simplify your approach. Focus on starting, not finishing. Commit to a small action. Once you begin, it becomes easier to continue. Action reduces resistance. It creates clarity. It shifts your mindset from avoidance to engagement. It is also important to understand that you do not need to feel ready to act. Waiting for the right feeling can keep you stuck. Action often comes before confidence, not after. Each time you take a step, you build confidence. You prove to yourself that you are capable. This creates a positive cycle. Action leads to confidence, and confidence leads to more action. Staying consistent even when it feels hard is what transforms effort into results. There will be days when you feel motivated, and days when you do not. There will be moments when everything feels easy, and moments when it feels challenging. Consistency means showing up regardless of these fluctuations. It means committing to your actions, even when they require effort. This does not mean pushing yourself to exhaustion. It means maintaining your commitment. Even small actions on difficult days keep your momentum alive. There will be moments when you question your progress. When results are not immediate, it is easy to feel discouraged. This is where patience becomes important. Progress is not always visible. It builds over time. Each action contributes to a larger pattern. Trusting this process allows you to continue, even when the results are not yet clear. It is also important to acknowledge your efforts. Recognize the steps you are taking. Appreciate your consistency. This reinforces your behavior and encourages you to continue. As you move forward, you will begin to notice a shift. Tasks that once felt overwhelming will feel manageable. Actions that once required effort will feel natural. Your confidence will grow. You will realize that you are capable of more than you thought. Not because everything became easier, but because you learned how to approach it differently. Taking action without overwhelm is not about doing less. It is about doing what matters, in a way that is sustainable. It is about focusing on progress, rather than perfection. It is about building momentum through small, consistent steps. Each step you take brings you closer to your goals. Each action you complete strengthens your confidence. Each moment you show up reinforces your commitment. You do not need to have everything figured out. You do not need to move quickly. You only need to move forward. Because in the end, it is not the speed of your progress that matters. It is your consistency. And when you take action step by step, without overwhelm, you begin to create something powerful. You begin to create change. Chapter 8: Building a support system that uplifts you. There is a powerful truth that often goes unspoken when it comes to rebuilding your life. You are not meant to do it alone. While your journey is personal, your environment and the people around you play a significant role in shaping your progress. The energy you are surrounded by either lifts you or weighs you down. And when you are starting over, that influence becomes even more important. A strong support system does not replace your effort, but it strengthens it. It provides encouragement when you feel uncertain, perspective when you feel lost, and reassurance when you begin to doubt yourself. It creates a space where growth is possible, and where your new identity can take shape without constant resistance. The importance of environment and relationships cannot be overstated. Your surroundings are constantly influencing your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions. The people you interact with, the conversations you have, and the energy you absorb all contribute to how you see yourself and your possibilities. When you are in an environment that supports your growth, you feel more motivated, more focused, and more aligned with your goals. You are encouraged to take action, to try, and to continue. But when your environment is filled with negativity, doubt, or limitation, it becomes harder to move forward. Even the strongest intentions can begin to weaken. Relationships, in particular, have a profound impact. The people you spend time with influence your mindset. They shape your beliefs, your confidence, and your sense of what is possible. If you are surrounded by people who doubt you, criticize you, or hold on to the past version of you, it becomes difficult to step into who you are becoming. This is why letting go of negative influences is sometimes necessary. It is not about judging others or placing blame. It is about recognizing what supports your growth and what does not. Negative influences are not always obvious. They can appear in subtle ways. It may be conversations that leave you feeling drained, environments that create stress, or relationships that reinforce limiting beliefs. Over time, these influences can hold you back. Letting go can be challenging, especially when it involves people or situations that have been part of your life for a long time. But growth often requires change. It requires you to make decisions that align with your future, not just your past. Letting go does not always mean cutting ties completely. It can mean creating boundaries. It can mean limiting exposure. It can mean choosing when and how you engage. The goal is to protect your energy and create space for growth. As you release what no longer supports you, you create room for something better. You open yourself to new influences, new perspectives, and new relationships that align with your direction. Surrounding yourself with encouragement and growth is a conscious choice. It is about seeking out environments and people who support your journey. These are individuals who uplift you, who believe in your potential, and who encourage you to move forward. Supportive relationships do not mean constant agreement or comfort. They challenge you in ways that help you grow. They offer honesty, encouragement, and perspective. They remind you of your strength when you forget. These relationships create a positive cycle. When you are encouraged, you feel more confident. When you feel confident, you take action. When you take action, you make progress. This progress reinforces your belief and strengthens your connection to your goals. It is also important to recognize that support can come in different forms. It may come from friends, family, mentors, or even communities that share similar goals. It may come from conversations, shared experiences, or simply knowing that you are not alone. As you build your support system, focus on quality rather than quantity. A few strong supportive relationships can have a greater impact than many superficial ones. What matters is the alignment, the encouragement, and the sense of connection. Learning to ask for help without shame is another essential part of this process. Many people hesitate to ask for support because they associate it with weakness. They feel that they should be able to handle everything on their own. But asking for help is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign of awareness. It is the recognition that growth is not meant to be isolated. It is the willingness to learn, to connect, and to receive support. When you ask for help, you create opportunities. You gain new perspectives, new insights, and new solutions. You expand your understanding and your capacity. It is important to approach this with openness. You do not need to have everything figured out before reaching out. You can ask questions, seek guidance, and share your experiences. This exchange creates growth. At the same time, it is important to choose wisely who you turn to. Not everyone will understand your journey, and not everyone will provide the support you need. This is why building a supportive environment is so important. As you become more comfortable asking for help, you will begin to see it differently. You will see it as a tool for growth rather than a sign of limitation. You will recognize that connection strengthens your journey. You will also find that offering support to others enhances your own growth. When you share your experiences, encourage others, or provide guidance, you reinforce your own understanding. You create a sense of purpose and connection. This balance of giving and receiving creates a strong support system. It is not one-sided. It is built on mutual growth, encouragement, and understanding. As you continue to build this system, you will notice a shift in how you experience your journey. You will feel less isolated and more connected. You will feel more supported and more confident. You will have a space where you can grow without constant resistance. This support will not remove challenges, but it will help you navigate them. It will provide perspective when things feel unclear and encouragement when things feel difficult. It is important to remember that you have the ability to shape your environment. You can choose where you spend your time, who you engage with, and what influences you allow into your life. These choices have a significant impact on your growth. Building a support system that uplifts you is not about dependence. It is about alignment. It is about creating a space where your efforts are supported, your growth is encouraged, and your potential is recognized. As you move forward, be intentional about your environment. Surround yourself with people who reflect the person you are becoming. Engage in conversations that inspire you. Create spaces that support your focus and your progress. You are not meant to rebuild your life in isolation. You are meant to grow, connect, and evolve within a supportive environment. And when you do, your journey becomes stronger, your progress becomes clearer, and your path becomes more aligned with who you are becoming. Chapter 9: Creating New Habits for a New Life. Starting over is not only about letting go of what no longer serves you. It is about intentionally building something new. It is about creating patterns, routines, and behaviors that align with the life you want to live. Because no matter how clear your vision is, it is your daily habits that will bring it to life. Your habits are the foundation of your new beginning. They shape how you spend your time, how you respond to challenges, and how you move toward your goals. They are the small actions that, when repeated consistently, create lasting change. If you do not replace old patterns, they will continue to influence your behavior. Even when you are motivated to change, familiar habits can pull you back into old ways of thinking and acting. This is why creating new habits is essential. It is not enough to stop doing something. You must replace it with something better. Replacing old patterns with empowering routines begins with awareness. You must recognize the habits that have been holding you back. These patterns may have developed over time, often without your conscious choice. They may have served a purpose in the past, but they no longer align with who you are becoming. Once you identify these patterns, you can begin to shift them. Instead of focusing on what you are trying to eliminate, focus on what you want to create. This shift in perspective is important. It moves your attention from avoidance to growth. For example, if you tend to avoid challenges, you can begin to build a habit of taking small, intentional actions. If you tend to dwell on negative thoughts, you can create a routine that encourages reflection and positive focus. These changes may seem simple, but they create a new direction. Empowering routines are built on intention. They are designed to support your growth, your mindset, and your goals. They are not random. They are aligned with the person you want to become. Building habits that support your growth requires consistency. It is not about doing something once or occasionally. It is about repeating actions until they become part of your routine. This repetition strengthens the behavior and makes it more natural. At first, new habits may require effort. They may feel unfamiliar or challenging. But with time, they become easier. Your brain adapts. The behavior becomes automatic. This is when the habit begins to work for you. It is important to start with manageable actions. You do not need to change everything at once. Focus on one habit at a time. Build it gradually. Allow it to become part of your routine before adding more. This approach reduces overwhelm and increases your chances of success. It creates a sense of progress and builds momentum. Each habit you establish strengthens your foundation. Staying disciplined and consistent is what transforms these habits into lasting change. Discipline is not about forcing yourself to act. It is about committing to your actions, even when you do not feel like it. There will be days when you are motivated, and days when you are not. There will be moments when your habits feel easy, and moments when they feel difficult. Consistency means showing up regardless of these fluctuations. It is not about perfection. It is about persistence. It is about continuing, even when it is not ideal. Each time you follow through, you reinforce your habit. Each time you stay consistent, you strengthen your discipline. Discipline becomes easier when your habits are aligned with your values. When you understand why your actions matter, it becomes easier to commit to them. You are not just going through the motions. You are moving towards something meaningful. Designing a life that aligns with your values is the ultimate goal. Your habits should reflect what is important to you. They should support the kind of life you want to create. Values provide direction. They guide your decisions and your actions. When your habits align with your values, your life feels more intentional. You are not just reacting to circumstances. You are creating your path. Take time to reflect on what matters to you. What do you want your life to represent? What qualities do you want to embody? These questions help you identify your values. Once you have clarity, you can design your habits around them. If growth is important to you, create habits that support learning and improvement. If balance is important, create routines that allow for rest and reflection. If connection is important, build habits that strengthen your relationships. This alignment creates consistency. It makes your habits feel meaningful rather than forced. It reduces resistance and increases your commitment. As you continue to build your habits, you will begin to notice a shift. Your actions will feel more natural. Your routine will feel more structured. Your progress will become more consistent. You will also notice a change in how you see yourself. You will begin to identify as someone who takes action, someone who follows through, someone who is committed to growth. This identity reinforces your habits, creating a cycle of improvement. There will be challenges along the way. Old patterns may resurface. There may be moments when you feel tempted to return to familiar behaviors. This is part of the process. What matters is how you respond. Instead of judging yourself, return to your habits. Continue the process. Each time you choose to move forward, you strengthen your commitment. Creating new habits is not about changing everything overnight. It is about building a system that supports your growth over time. It is about making small, consistent changes that accumulate into something powerful. Your habits are the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. They are the daily actions that turn your vision into reality. As you move forward, remember that you have the ability to shape your habits. You can choose what you repeat. You can choose what you reinforce. You can choose what becomes part of your life. Each day is an opportunity to build something new. Each action is a step toward your future. And when your habits align with your values, your life begins to reflect your intentions. This is how you create a new life. Not through one big change, but through the consistent repetition of small, meaningful actions. Chapter 10: Becoming Stronger Than Your Past. There comes a moment in your journey when something shifts inside you. It is not loud or dramatic, but it is powerful. You begin to realize that your past no longer has the authority it once held over you. The weight that once defined you starts to feel lighter. The story that once limited you begins to transform. And in that moment, you understand something deeply important. You are no longer trying to escape your past. You are becoming stronger than it. Becoming stronger than your past does not mean denying it, hiding it, or pretending it never happened. It means facing it, understanding it, and rising beyond its limitations. It means recognizing that while your past may have shaped you, it does not define you. You have the power to choose who you become next. Turning your struggles into strength is where this transformation begins. Every challenge you have faced carries something within it. Not just pain, but also lessons, resilience, and awareness. These experiences may not have been easy, and they may not have been what you wanted, but they have contributed to who you are today. Struggles often reveal parts of you that you would not have discovered otherwise. They test your limits, push you beyond your comfort zone, and force you to grow. In the moment, they can feel overwhelming. But with time and perspective, they become sources of strength. When you begin to see your struggles in this way, your relationship with them changes. Instead of viewing them as obstacles that held you back, you start to see them as experiences that prepared you. You recognize that you have endured, that you have learned, and that you have continued. This shift is powerful because it transforms your narrative. It allows you to see yourself not as someone who was defeated by circumstances, but as someone who has navigated them. It gives you confidence in your ability to handle future challenges. Developing resilience is a natural outcome of this process. Resilience is not about avoiding difficulty. It is about responding to it with strength and clarity. It is the ability to adapt, to recover, and to continue moving forward. Resilience is built through experience. Each challenge you face strengthens your capacity to handle the next. Each moment of difficulty becomes an opportunity to grow. Emotional stability is closely connected to resilience. It is the ability to remain grounded, even when situations are uncertain or stressful. It does not mean you will not feel emotions. It means you are not controlled by them. When you develop emotional stability, you create space between your feelings and your actions. You are able to respond rather than react. You make decisions with clarity rather than impulse. This stability comes from awareness. It comes from understanding your emotions, recognizing your patterns, and choosing how you respond. It is built through practice, through reflection, and through intentional action. As you strengthen your resilience and emotional stability, you begin to feel more in control of your life. You are no longer easily shaken by challenges. You are able to navigate situations with confidence. Owning your journey without apology is another important step in becoming stronger than your past. Your story is yours. It is shaped by your experiences, your choices, and your growth. There is no need to hide it, minimize it, or feel ashamed of it. Owning your journey means accepting it fully. It means recognizing both the challenges and the growth. It means understanding that every part of your story has contributed to who you are. When you stop apologizing for your past, you reclaim your power. You no longer seek validation from others. You no longer feel the need to explain or justify your journey. You stand in your truth with confidence. This does not mean ignoring your mistakes. It means learning from them and moving forward. It means recognizing that you are not defined by those moments, but by how you respond to them. As you own your journey, you also inspire others. Your story becomes a reminder that growth is possible, that change is real, and that starting over is not something to be ashamed of. Living with confidence, clarity, and purpose is the result of this transformation. Confidence comes from knowing who you are and trusting your ability to move forward. It is built through action, through consistency, and through self-belief. Clarity comes from understanding your direction. It comes from knowing what matters to you and aligning your actions with your values. It removes confusion and creates focus. Purpose comes from connecting your actions to something meaningful. It gives your life direction. It makes your efforts feel significant. When these elements come together, your life begins to feel aligned. You are no longer reacting to circumstances. You are creating your path. You begin to move with intention. Your decisions become clearer. Your actions become more consistent. Your confidence grows. There will still be challenges. There will still be moments of doubt. But you will approach them differently. You will face them with strength rather than fear, with clarity rather than confusion. You will understand that your past does not limit you. It strengthens you. It provides you with the experience, the awareness, and the resilience to move forward. As you continue on this path, you will notice how far you have come. The person you were when you started this journey is not the same person you are now. You have grown. You have learned. You have changed. This growth is not always visible in the moment, but it is real. It is reflected in your mindset, your actions, and your perspective. Becoming stronger than your past is not a single moment. It is a continuous process. It is something you choose every day. It is reflected in how you think, how you act, and how you respond. Each day, you have the opportunity to reinforce your strength. Each decision you make contributes to your growth. Each step you take moves you forward. You are not defined by what has happened to you. You are defined by what you choose to do next. Your past is part of your story, but it is not the end of it. It is a chapter, not the conclusion. And as you continue to move forward, you will realize something powerful. You are not just rebuilding your life. You are rising above it. Conclusion: your new beginning starts now. There is a powerful moment that exists right here, right now. It is not in your past, and it is not somewhere far in the future. It is in this exact point where you stand, where everything you have learned, everything you have faced, and everything you have become comes together. This is where your new beginning starts. Not tomorrow. Not when everything feels perfect. Not when you feel completely ready. It starts now. You have walked through reflection, through healing, through rebuilding. You have faced the weight of shame, challenged your beliefs, redefined who you are, and begun to see your future with clarity. This journey has not been easy, but it has been necessary. And now, you are standing at a point of transformation. Embracing your journey without shame is one of the most important decisions you can make as you move forward. Your story is not something to hide. It is not something to feel embarrassed about or to minimize. It is something to own. Every part of your journey has contributed to who you are becoming. The struggles, the setbacks, the moments of doubt, and the moments of growth are all part of your story. They do not diminish your worth. They strengthen it. When you release shame, you release the need to hide. You step into your life with openness and confidence. You no longer carry the weight of judgment, whether it comes from others or from within. You allow yourself to move forward freely. This freedom is powerful. It creates space for growth, for connection, and for possibility. It allows you to fully engage with your life without being held back by the past. The long-term power of starting over is something that unfolds over time. It is not always immediate, and it is not always visible in the beginning. But as you continue to move forward, you will begin to see the impact. Starting over gives you the opportunity to rebuild your life with intention. It allows you to choose your direction, your habits, and your identity. It gives you the chance to align your life with your values rather than with past expectations. Over time, the small actions you take will begin to accumulate. The habits you build will create patterns. These patterns will shape your life. What once felt like a fresh start will become a strong foundation. You will begin to see how far you have come. You will notice the changes in your mindset, your confidence, and your clarity. You will realize that starting over was not a setback, but a turning point. Trusting yourself to rebuild your life is essential in this process. There will be moments when you question your decisions, when you feel uncertain, or when you doubt your progress. This is natural. Growth often comes with uncertainty. But within you is the ability to navigate these moments. You have already demonstrated resilience, courage, and strength. You have already taken steps forward. These experiences are evidence of your capability. Trust is not built overnight. It is built through action. Each time you follow through, each time you make a decision, each time you continue despite difficulty, you strengthen your trust in yourself. This trust becomes your foundation. It allows you to move forward with confidence, even when the path is not completely clear. It reminds you that you are capable of adapting, learning, and growing. The final mindset shift is one of the most powerful transformations you will experience. It is the shift from seeing yourself as broken to recognizing that you are becoming. When you see yourself as broken, you focus on what is missing, what is wrong, and what needs to be fixed. This perspective creates limitation. It keeps you focused on the past and on perceived shortcomings. But when you see yourself as becoming, everything changes. You recognize that you are in a process of growth. You understand that you are evolving, learning, and building. You see your challenges as part of that process, not as evidence of failure. This shift creates possibility. It opens your mind to new opportunities, new experiences, and new ways of thinking. It allows you to approach your life with curiosity rather than fear. Becoming is not about reaching a final destination. It is about continuous growth. It is about moving forward step by step, with intention and awareness. Your next step is simple, but it is powerful. It is to move forward with courage and consistency. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the willingness to act despite it. There will be moments when you feel uncertain, when you hesitate, or when you question yourself. In those moments, courage is what allows you to take the next step. Consistency is what turns that step into progress. It is what transforms action into results. It is what builds your habits, your confidence, and your future. You do not need to do everything at once. You do not need to have all the answers. You only need to take the next step, then the next, and then the next. Each step you take reinforces your commitment. Each action you complete strengthens your belief. Each moment you show up moves you forward. There will be challenges along the way. There will be moments when progress feels slow, when results are not immediate, or when doubt returns. These moments are part of the journey. They do not define your progress. What defines your progress is your response. It is your willingness to continue. It is your commitment to growth. As you move forward, remember that your life is not determined by a single moment, a single decision, or a single setback. It is shaped by your actions over time. You have the ability to create change. You have the ability to build a life that reflects your values, your goals, and your potential. Starting over is not something to fear. It is something to embrace. It is an opportunity to rebuild with intention, to grow with purpose, and to move forward with clarity. This is your moment. This is your opportunity. This is your beginning. Your new life is not waiting for you somewhere in the future. It is being created by what you choose to do right now. Thank you for reading this book. I hope you enjoyed it. Please remember to leave us a review. TM Light. Disclaimer. This book was created with the assistance of artificial intelligence. While every effort was made to ensure the accuracy and relevance of the content, readers should note that this cannot be considered professional advice. Readers are encouraged to apply their own judgment and consult experts where needed.